It's our last few days in Russia, and we were thinking of what can wrap up our trip and what has really symbolized our trip and our impressions and our experiences as a whole. And so we thought of the Manifesta 10 exhibition, which we went to last week. Manifesta 10 is an art exhibition that was set up by a German called Caspar Koenig. He set it up after the fall of the Berlin Wall after World War II. For him, it symbolized a dialogue between East and West, and it was a way to bring modern art to cities in Europe that had no previous modern art scenes and didn't have a lot of contact with the art world. So this year, it was the first time that it came to Russia and to St. Petersburg, and this is the furthest east that it has ever gone. I mean, it's just interesting also because the Manifesta 10 is in one of the Hermitage buildings right opposite the Winter Palace and the Hermitage, and so you have this contrast of the old imperial style, the palace, and then you have this modern art, which is really encouraging artists around St. Petersburg and the modern art scene to kind of kickstart that and to allow the younger, newer culture of St. Petersburg to shine through.
At the Manifesta, the art piece we felt most well encompassed what we had studied in class was a piece called the Lada Kopeka Project. It was made by an artist from Brussels, Francis Elise, and it was commissioned by Manifesta 10. And what he did essentially was drive all the way from Brussels to St. Petersburg, and at St. Petersburg he drove all the way to the Winter Palace and crashed on a tree right in front of the Winter Palace on purpose. And the original idea behind the project was an idea of crashing the illusion of the dreams of his childhood, because many years before, he and his brother had shared, at the time, a Lada Riva, and they drove from Brussels to what was Leningrad, but they never really made the full trip. Like halfway through, the car broke down and their siblings went separate ways. And then when the Manifesta commissioned Francis Elise to do a new project, he decided to invite his brother on this journey so that they could finally complete this journey to St. Petersburg. And in the artist's words, which he wrote in this nice postcard, he said that without an end, there is no beginning, and that this project, he hoped, would show the shattering of the illusions of dreams of childhood. But we really see more beyond that. So not only there is the illusion of the dreams of childhood, which also, in a way, encompasses the childhood is the traditional art in Russia, so it's what set its base, it would let future art flourish, but in a way it's time to let that go and start focusing on adulthood, on maturity, which would be the modern art. But also, by crashing in front of the Winter Palace, he's breaking away from the imperial ideals from this old Russia, and by crashing a Lada Kopeka, which is a Soviet car, it's essentially the symbol of the Soviet system if you think of cars and the privacy of people. By crashing that, he is also sending a message that there is a crash of the Soviet Union. Crash to us also was very symbolic of this clash that we see every day in Russia between the old and the new. We see these beautifully preserved buildings from the Soviet times and also these falling down buildings, the private buildings, which is kind of the clash between the private life and the public life, which is still remnants from the Soviet time. And at the same time, we see the clash between art. And because of that, we really felt that it encompassed the work as a whole that we have studied. We were very inspired by it, and we hope that you can see through the pictures, through the videos that we put forth, this duality of Russia that we were able to see, because Russia is not quite new, it's not quite old, it's not the East, it's not the West, it's not Asia or Europe, it's somewhere in the middle, and this middle is very fruitful because it brings everything together, and because of that, art flourishes so much here. And as much as we were inspired by it, we wish to inspire future people from what we saw.
Расцветали яблони и груши, поплыли туманы над рекой. Выходила на берег Катюша, на высокий берег, на крутой. Выходила на берег Катюша, на высокий берег, на крутой. Выходила, песню заводила про степного сизого орла, про того, которого любила, про того, Царство и силы и слава.
But even Mariinsky had to reinvent itself.
Ловил я много разумных рыбок.